ことを IT で変えていく GMO グローバルサインホールディングス
Hello, I am Aoyama, President and CEO of GMO GlobalSign Holdings. Thank you very much for attending today. Without further ado, I would like to present the financial results for the first quarter of 2024. Here is today's agenda. Firstly, I will discuss our financial performance and then provide an overview of the status of each business segment. Now, I would like to provide an overview of the financial results for the first quarter. First, let's look at the summary for the first quarter of 2024. Compared to the same period last year, consolidated net sales increased by 11.5% and consolidated operating profit rose by 15.1%. Additionally, our key focus areas, GMO Sign and GMO Trust Login, have continued to achieve robust business expansion. The sales from the digital certificate and eSignature segment increased by 15.1% compared to the same period last year. The consolidated financial results for the first quarter are as follows. Net sales, operating profit, and net income have all exceeded the figures for the same period last year. Regarding ordinary profit, it has slightly decreased compared to the first quarter of last year due to the investment partnership gains of 78 million yen recorded in that period. However, both net sales and all kinds of profits are progressing steadily towards our targets for this fiscal year. Next, I will explain the quarterly trend in net sales. Net sales for the first quarter of 2024 amounted to 4,720 million yen, representing an 11.5% increase compared to the same period last year and a 1.2% increase compared to the previous quarter. In the digital certificate and eSignature segment, sales increased by 15% compared to the same period last year. This growth was driven by the recovery of SSL server certificate sales in the US and Europe, as well as the expansion of both the GMO Sign and GMO Trust Login businesses. In the cloud infrastructure segment, net sales increased by 4.7% compared to the same period last year, primarily due to the continued strong performance of Cloud Crew sales. On the other hand, in the digital transformation segment, net sales decreased due to the postponement of certain projects in the application business. Next, let's look at the quarterly trend in operating profit. Operating profit for the first quarter increased by 10.2% compared to the same period last year, amounting to 423 million yen. In the digital certificate and eSignature segment, despite increases in personnel expenses and depreciation costs, operating profit grew by 6.0% due to revenue growth. In the cloud infrastructure segment, although costs related to the relocation of data centers increased compared to the same period last year, operating profit surged by 33.3% thanks to cost reductions achieved through operational efficiencies and decreases in selling expenses and depreciation costs. On the other hand, in the digital transformation segment, operating losses slightly increased due to the postponement of certain projects in the application business. Here is the analysis of the changes in operating profit. Compared to the same period last year, operating profit increased by 39 million yen, reaching 423 million yen. While net sales increased by approximately 500 million yen, the cost of sales also rose due to the relocation of data centers. Additionally, the development of certification authority systems aimed at the next phase of growth for our digital certificate services led to an increase in depreciation costs for both the cost of sales and selling, general and administrative expenses. Furthermore, personnel expenses increased due to rising labor costs overseas and commissions related to our performance at the end of the previous fiscal year. Next, let's look at the quarterly trend in selling, general, and administrative expenses. Our operating expenses have remained nearly the same as those in the same period last year. As for depreciation expenses, as previously mentioned, they have increased due to the commencement of depreciation for the certification authority systems. Regarding personnel expenses, commissions for GMO GlobalSign were incurred in the first quarter. Apart from that, the increase in personnel expenses corresponds to the business growth. Finally, I would like to report on the consolidated net sales and total number of employees by region. Overseas net sales increased by 14.6% compared to the same period last year, driven by strong SSL sales in Europe and North America. As a result, the proportion of overseas sales increased by 1.2 percentage points compared to the same period last year and by 0.6 percentage points compared to the previous quarter. Regarding the overseas proportion of employees, there was a 0.2 percentage point increase compared to the same period last year, primarily due to an increase in staff in Singapore and the Philippines. Compared to the previous quarter, the proportion increased by 0.5 percentage points, mainly due to adding employees in India and Dubai. From this point, I will provide explanations by business segment. First, let's discuss the digital certificate and eSignature segment. Here is an overview of the services offered in this segment. We leverage the technology and expertise of our in-house certification authority to expand our services. GlobalSign holds the #1 domestic market share for SSL server certificates. GMO Sign is #1 domestically in terms of the number of contracting companies and the number of transmissions. GMO Trust Login ranks #1 in Japan for the number of implementing companies and the number of integrated applications. Now let me share the latest developments with you. Our consolidated subsidiary, GMO GlobalSign, has obtained certification from the Minister for Internal Affairs and Communications as the first new entrant in the timestamping business. Timestamps are crucial for certifying the creation time and integrity of electronic documents and data. As a certification authority, our company issues digital certificates that ensure the encryption and authenticity of electronic documents and data. By integrating certified timestamps with our existing services, we aim to create new services and further expand our business. Additionally, we seek to enhance security and further differentiate our existing services. Next, let me explain the latest updates regarding GMO Sign. We have launched a new feature called Face-to-Face Contract Premium. This feature allows users to complete contracts and applications using a tablet device during in-person interactions, in addition to the existing functionality that facilitates non-face-to-face contracts via email. For instance, it significantly enhances convenience for face-to-face contracts, such as handing over real estate keys or finalizing agreements after on-site inspections in work locations. This service is currently garnering significant interest, particularly within the construction and renovation industries. As it offers a unique capability not available from our competitors, it serves as a significant differentiator. Now, I will provide an overview of the first quarter results for the digital certificate and eSignature segment. First, let's look at the trends in sales by product category. In the first quarter, SSL sales increased by 9.3% compared to the same period last year, bolstered by a recovery in new sales in Europe and North America. We have maintained steady global growth in this segment. Sales from electronic signatures and other services saw significant growth, with GMO Sign achieving a 42% increase compared to the same period last year. This robust performance was seen across all sales channels. GMO Trust Login also experienced strong growth, with sales increasing by 51% compared to the same period last year, driven by the strengthened agency strategy. Additionally, other services, including client certificates and electronic signature services, grew by 20% compared to the same period last year. Next, I will provide an update on the status of GMO Sign. The logos displayed on the slide represent companies that have entered into paid contracts and have granted permission for their inclusion. Even at present, many large enterprises are in the process of newly adopting our service. Regarding the number of contracted companies, it has reached 202,400, reflecting a 61.2% increase compared to the same period last year, indicating steady expansion. The number of paid contracts has also grown satisfactorily, showing a 41.4% increase compared to the same period last year. Additionally, we continue to implement measures to upgrade from the free plan to the paid plan. The number of applications for the paid plan has increased by 69% compared to the same period last year, reflecting its strong performance. Next, let's look at the trend in the number of contract transmissions. The number of transmissions increased by 82% compared to the same period last year, reaching 3,654,000 transmissions. The increase in paid transmissions has been robust, and this trend continues steadily. Here is the trend in annual recurring revenue. We have maintained a high growth rate with a 48.2% increase compared to the same period last year. ARR refers to the revenue that is expected to be recurring annually, indicating stable revenue projections for the next fiscal year. The background for this increase lies in the expansion of actual usage by our customers, as indicated by the rise in the number of transmissions. Notably, usage has expanded significantly within the real estate industry. The spread of electronic contracts within the industry and our industry-specific strategies, which have fostered collaboration with major industry players and associations, have effectively increased the use of GMO sign across the entire industry. Furthermore, our unique features such as the face-to-face contract premium and SMS transmission capabilities, which are not offered by competitors, have garnered attention in the construction industry, leading to increased adoption. Going forward, we will continue to accelerate growth through targeted sales strategies for industries with high demand for electronic contracts and differentiation strategies leveraging our in-house development strengths. Next, I would like to report on our progress in implementing our services with local governments. As of now, the number of local governments adopting our services has exceeded 100. We will continue to promote adoption to support local governments in their DX promotion and contribution to SDGs. Additionally, our GMO Sign digital delivery service, which digitizes notices that were previously issued in paper form, is being newly adopted or considered for adoption by several local governments. Leveraging our competitive advantage in digital delivery, we aim to further increase recognition among local governments and expand adoption through collaboration with our partnering organizations. Finally, let me update you on the status of GMO Trust Login within this segment. Since last year, we have strengthened our agency strategies, resulting in a steady increase in the number of implementations. As a result, the number of implementing companies has increased by 11% compared to the same period last year, reaching 9,300 companies. Among them, the number of paid plan contracts has increased by 35%, the number of paid IDs by 48%, and revenue by 51%, indicating robust growth. In this fiscal year, we plan to further expand our business by adding new features, releasing new services, and strengthening customer success initiatives. Next, I will explain the status of the cloud infrastructure segment. First, I would like to report on the quarterly sales trends by product. Overall, the first quarter sales for the segment increased by 4.7% compared to the same period last year. Specifically, Cloud Crew sales grew by 30%, reaching 431 million yen, continuing its steady sales growth. However, due to the strong performance of Cloud Crew sales in the fourth quarter of the previous year, there was a 2.5% decrease in revenue compared to the previous quarter. Despite this, the completion of a part of the data center relocation eliminated double costs for usage fees. Additionally, continued efforts to improve operational efficiency have led to reduced costs, resulting in a 180% increase in operating profit compared to the previous quarter. Finally, let me provide an overview of the digital transformation segment. The number of stores implementing the GMO Shop app, combined with Shop Pocket, has increased by 35% compared to the same period last year, reaching a total of 27,200 stores. In terms of sales, collaborative services with other companies within the group, such as Shop Pocket and the mobile gift voucher platform, have seen sales growth. In April of this year, we released the ticket function to further expand the business of the mobile gift voucher platform. This function can be used for electronic coupon tickets, shareholder benefits, and electronic gift vouchers that can be given to third parties. With this new feature, we can now provide services not only to local governments, but also to enterprises such as theme parks and tourist attractions. This fiscal year, we will concentrate on creating new services through collaborative efforts that leverage the synergistic effects within our group, aiming for further growth.
ことを IT で変えていく GMO グローバルサインホールディングス
That concludes my presentation. We change experience with IT. We appreciate your continued support of GMO GlobalSign Holdings. Thank you for your attention.